It's Wednesday night, and you are well aware of what that means? It means we're talking about AEW Dynamite. It's January 5th. We have new AEW Tag Team Champions. We have a first ever TBS champion, Jade Cargill, and Hangman beats Bryan Danielson to retain the AEW Championship in a bloodbath. Let's talk about AEW. I'm here. Johnny North is here. Let's do the thing. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What up, Johnny North, the big man, El Contadoro. What up?
Yeah, he's a good guy. I've heard of him.
Whoever that is. Yeah.
Exactly, these cool guys. But tonight, I don't know, this felt like deja vu tonight, did it not? It felt like, you had the first half of the show, it was like, wow, and then the second half was just like, well, you get the leftovers, pretty much.
I never seen Jade Cargill win a championship, then feel like deja vu there. Johnny!
You got a moment. It's a nice moment, but, I don't think as much as you may have liked that, I mean, you can't deny the first match was the best match. And then everything else, like, it can't compare.
I'm dancing.
That's nice.
Jade Cargill dancing. Jade Cargill dancing. I'll get him. Jade Cargill. She did it. She did it again. Woo! Not since Juliana Pena have we called such an unbelievable upset. Team Dave. Jade Cargill does it again. New TBS champion. I told you, Johnny. I told everybody. She's the future of women's wrestling. No, you didn't. Only I did. Only me. I've been on the Jade Cargill train since day one. Day one-ish. Me. Big Dave. I got the T-shirt. I know you did, John. I know. I'm just playing. I'm just having a little fun. We got to have fun once in a while, John. We're having fun. We're partying like a chartered plane to Mexico full of influencers. We're having a fiesta.
Good luck getting back home.
Arriba! Andale! It's a long drive back to Mexico.
Train's probably better.
Hey, I don't it'll take a while too. They're gonna get a flight. They'll be all right. Let's talk about wrestling. The opening match was match of the night. I agree with you. Match of the night. Tremendous matchup between Hangman and Bryan. Despite my disappointment in the finish, I thought the match itself was unbelievable. The fact that these two guys can go again about a couple weeks removed from their last encounter that went an hour, that was incredible. That was maybe one of the greatest matches in AEW history. Here they go, coming right back, and they deliver another classic. This may have been better than the first match. It was close. It was very good. It went about 34 minutes. Hangman Page hits the buckshot lariat. A bloody affair. Both guys busted wide open. Crimson Mask. Not as bloody as the women's tag match on Rampage on Friday, but still quite bloody. I don't know if you saw that, but Ty Conti and the Bunny were bleeding like crazy. But this was bloody. This was violent. This was brutal. And this was a tremendous match. Once again, Bryan Danielson showing why he is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, the number one wrestler of his generation. And Hangman Page showing why he is the future of professional wrestling, why he not only has the look, has the promo, has the size, but he has the ability within those ropes. He can go and have classic matches with Bryan Danielson. Now, a motivated Bryan Danielson, of course, a lot of people could have classic matches with him. Big Cass had a good match with a motivated Bryan Danielson. Nevertheless, Hangman Page showed that he is a much better wrestler than Big Cass and most other wrestlers that are walking planet Earth today. Hangman Page is a top-of-the-line professional wrestler. These guys telling a high-level story. These guys hitting some hard-hitting moves. That crossbody that Hangman does, where he flies over the top rope, hits Bryan outside of the ring. I mean, the thud, It's flesh on flesh. Mm-hmm. It's just a smack. A lot of these crossbodies, it's like, I'm floating over, you catch me, we land softly, everything's fine. This is Hangman throwing his body full velocity right at Bryan Danielson. The thud of that crossbody. The violence in that match. The vertical suplex spot where they, Hangman's got Bryan over the top and then they flip over and then Bryan's got the vertical suplex and they flip again and Hangman's got it and then Bryan goes over the top of him. That's a crazy move, right? That's dangerous too on your neck. Hard to do. Very hard to do. Hangman can go. We've known this for years, but seeing him now at the World Championship level, having these classic matches with Bryan Danielson, and you can say, well, what about his matches with Kenny and all of that stuff? This is Hangman's best work. These are the best matches that Hangman has ever had in his entire life. And they're happening right now when he's the world champion at the very best time for him to have the best matches. Right? You want to have your greatest matches ever when you're the world champion. You want to carry the company. You want to be looked at as the best in the business. Hangman Page shows up to his title defenses, doesn't stay home with a little coronavirus or whatever, right? I'm joking. I'm joking about Roman Reigns. I'm joking about Roman Reigns. Hey, Heyman was joking about Roman on Raw. You hear what Heyman said? He's like, 1 week without the Advocate, and he's home with the Rona. What do you think happened there? I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good one. Good line from Heyman. Yeah, hell of a Raw this week, too. Raw was good this week. Dynamite was good this week. I'm liking wrestling this week. We had some good stuff. Brock Lesnar's like the hardest working man in pro wrestling, though. 3 dates in 1 week. That's crazy. Anyway, sticking to AEW. Match was great. Hangman kicked out of the running knee. And eventually Hangman hits Bryan Danielson with the buckshot lariat just over 30 minutes to retain the AEW World title. Beating Bryan clean, though. I don't know about that. And I don't know what you do with him going forward after you've established that Hangman can beat him. What does Bryan do next?
Well, the way I looked at this, I don't know if you saw it this way. You probably did. But I think Bryan was probably winning on the scorecards, and I think that's the way he's going to look at it, was the fact that he was winning the match, and that was kind of a fluky kind of thing. He's going to come back with that.
Yeah. Was it a fluky kind of thing, though? I mean, he hit his finisher. He pinned him 1, 2, 3, middle of the ring. What's fluky about that? Bryan, I think, was in control of most of the match, but judging, control, I mean, it's not really much, right? It's not a lot to stand on. Hangman beat him clean in the middle of the ring. I don't know if you can do a rematch off this. I think Bryan has to rebuild, which is disappointing because if he didn't win the title now, does he ever win the title? Does he win the championship now in 2022?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'd be surprised if it didn't.
I'm not sure. The fact that he didn't win tonight makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. I hope that he does become the world champion, but, right now they're building Hangman strong. Hangman had this 1 hour draw with Bryan. They do the rematch. Hangman wins clean in the rematch. I feel like they're going to move Hangman along now. I don't know if Bryan Danielson will be Hangman's opponent on March 6th at AEW Revolution, their next pay-per-view, or premium event or whatever. No, it's a pay-per-view. It's still pay-per-view in AEW.
For them, yes.
Yeah.
But even then, like you say, for the year, like we're just starting the year right now, so I think he's definitely coming back. If he doesn't come back the next pay-per-view, he's probably coming back maybe Double or Nothing, maybe All Out. But he's definitely going to come back because I don't think this is something that's just going to go away. I think he's going to keep trying. He's going to be more relentless, I think, until he finally gets the title. I think they just didn't change it right here because it's too early for Hangman. He didn't really have a defense yet, so they had to give him at least something.
Do you think Bryan is going to be the one to take it from Hangman? When Hangman eventually loses, does Bryan Danielson take it from him? After tonight, I'm not so sure. I really thought that they were going in that direction, but I was a little disappointed in the outcome tonight. I thought, maybe this was going to be Bryan's night, and having him lose clean to Hangman, I wonder, okay, maybe they're just going to move on and do something else with Bryan. I don't know if Bryan's the one to take the title from him. And that makes me sad a little bit. As a Bryan Danielson fan, as a guy who recognizes Bryan as the best wrestler in the world today, Disappoints me a little bit that he's not a world champion.
Well, again, like I'd be surprised if he doesn't win the next time he faces, like the next time they have a match. If he doesn't win that match, I'd be very, very surprised because it seems like it's kind of even in a sense, and to even it up, like he'd have to win that match again. Then you can even have another match. Like it's something they can really expand quite a bit if they wanted to. To me, like I think they're just getting started with this.
I hope you're right. I really do. I'm a huge Bryan Danielson fan. I think he's the best. And right now, I don't know what Hangman could do post Bryan Danielson that'll be as big or anywhere near as big as these matches that he's had. Maybe Moxley comes back. If Moxley comes back, right? If I mean, that's kind of it at this point.
Oh, you could throw in the whole CM Punk MJF. You throw that on to Hangman right there.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys. They're up there as well, but I don't know. We'll see what they do with Hangman. Excellent match, though. Match of the night. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about the cuts from the WWE today. William Regal, Road Dogg, a bunch of other people. Ray Cruz mentioning it. Ryan Katz mentioning it. I don't know if you noticed this.
So someone complained.
There was a guy named
about
Ryan.
The blood.
Hold on. There was a guy named Ryan Katz that was fired from WWE today, too. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I saw the name pop up like that, yeah.
I was a little confused. I was like, is that the guy who watches our show? I don't think it is. Remember,
I don't think it is.
He used to be Bob Cote, but now he revealed his name as Ryan Katz. Maybe he faked the Bob Cote name because he worked for WWE the whole time and he didn't want to reveal his true identity. But they fired a guy called Ryan Katz today, and I was like, is that the guy who watches our show? Regular in the chat, Ryan Katz? Did the WWE also fire Doug Hepburn and Angelo Contagonis today? What's the deal? Shout out Doug. Shout out Angelo. Even AJ.
I think they tell us.
I would hope so. Yeah, but they released a lot of people. A guy called Ryan, I think his name was Ryan Katz, right? Did you see that?
I feel like it is. Again, the spelling could be maybe not exactly it, but yeah. And again, it just happens to be that coincidence. That's it.
William Regal, Dave Kapoor. Ryan Katz, a longtime NXT creative producer. He worked for NXT for a long time and worked for Wrestling Society X and stuff like that. I saw that name. I was like, that's a familiar name. I don't know. Shout out to Ryan Katz. And I'm sorry that WWE released you today. Watching today, our post-Dynamite show. Excellent stuff there with Hangman and Bryan Danielson. Hangman retains. We'll see what they do with Hangman going forward. Main event, I thought was pretty good too. Jurassic Express beat the Lucha Brothers to become the new AEW World Tag Team Champions. So we go SCU to the FTR, right? To the Bucks, to the Luchas, to the Jurassic.
Well, you're kind of.
Did I miss somebody? Who did I miss?
Yeah, you're missing Kenny and Hangman.
Oh yeah, Kenny and Hangman. SCU, Kenny and Hangman, the FTR, the Bucks, the Luchas, and now the sixth tag team champions in AEW history, the Jurassic Express. Okay, let's get into it. The lights went out during this match. Why?
Yep. Probably because of Malachi. It happened earlier in the night.
Yeah, but I'm not accepting that. I think that's bad. What? So Malachi Black earlier in the night, right? Previous segment, beats Brian Pillman Jr., pins him. Malachi then goes after Julia Hart. He's like, I'm going to go spray mist in her face again. She's got an eye patch because she was blinded. Maybe he's going to permanently blind Julia Hart. The Lucha Brothers show up to stop him. And commentary has to remind us, they remember what happened to Pac. And I'm like, I don't. He blinded Pac? When was this? When was this?
Oh, this was probably months ago. But yeah, they did that to him too.
Months ago. When's the last time we saw Pac? I mean, they're not talking about... This isn't a thing that's been ongoing. Lucha Brothers, they don't like Aleister Black because he attacked Pac. 6 months ago, and you're like, huh? And that's where Pac has been. Really? Or is it COVID and he's just stuck in England? Like, come on. Come on. So the Lucha Brothers show up to stop him, and then Malachi, and then the lights go out, right? Malachi Black is in the ring, okay? Lucha Brothers are on the ramp. Lights go out, and then when they come back on, the Lucha Brothers are in the ring, and Malachi is on the ramp, and they're like, huh? Teleportation? Is this what we're doing now? Is he the Undertaker? Teleportation. Like Bray Wyatt. Is that what happened? That were the Lucha Brothers teleported? Or did the Lucha Brothers try to attack Malachi Black in the ring, and then he rolled out of the ring, and then he ran to the stage, and then the lights went back on, and that's what happened? Because on TV, it looks like they teleported. Obviously, teleportation is not real, but it did appear as though Malachi Black, with his eerie powers, his dark and his mist and his lights and his face paint and his tattoos and his haircut, apparently he's got teleportation powers now too. Did you get this? Was this teleportation?
Well, I was actually expecting like he'd have his own little group show up, but that didn't happen. So
I thought we'd been promised a group. I thought he had like Brody King and maybe some other guy like Killer Cross or Keith Lee or some other basket of glory. Like,
that might be it though. Like maybe their 90 days aren't up yet, so that's why they're waiting.
Bray Wyatt, you know?
Yeah, he's not going to be a sidekick though.
He should be.
I don't disagree with you, but he won't be.
He'd be a good sidekick for Malachi Black. So teleportation is what we're doing now. So we did that.
You did it with Matt Hardy.
Yeah, all right. But that's funny. You know, when you do it jokingly, it's like, yeah, all right. Yeah, it's funny. But when you do it like serious, because he's like this dark man who's got dark feelings or whatever, it's like, come on, dude. Like, don't do something ridiculous and have it be treated seriously. If you want to do something as ridiculous as teleportation, like, you could do it with a joke character like Matt Hardy, who's got that type of gimmick. But it's hard to take seriously, right? I mean, for me it is. Maybe for you it's fine. I don't know. It seems
I was
dumb.
okay with The Undertaker doing it for years.
It's The Undertaker. He gets a pass, you know? He got a pass for doing certain weird things. Because we started doing it when we were like 5, you know? So it's okay. If you're 5 and you grow up watching him do it, it's fine. But if you're like, you know, in your mid-30s and you're watching this man teleport, you're like, all right, I'm not 5 anymore, dude. I guess this was for the 5-year-olds who will grow up thinking that Malachi Black teleporting is fine. So we have the tag team match, and the lights went out during the match. And we expected Malachi Black to maybe show up, or maybe this was going to be when his goons made their debut. But no, the lights go back on, and nothing has happened. Nobody has moved. Everything's the same. They're still wrestling. Jurassic Express is still wrestling the Lucha Brothers, and nothing has really changed.
Yeah.
What?
That's disappointing that happened. But again, I guess it was just some sort of distraction. He did this in the past with Cody, if you remember correctly. Lights just went on and off.
Yeah, but didn't Malachi show up at the end of that? Like, the lights went on and off during the match, but then after the match, they happened again, and then he showed up.
Right.
There was no payoff to this. It was just like, oh, lights went off. No payoff. You saw Malachi Black later at the end of the match. For some reason, there were people sitting in the crowd, like Chris Jericho and Malachi Black, sitting in seats watching Jurassic Express celebrate their win, and then all the tag teams in AEW, except for the Young Bucks, of course. Right? FTR, all the jabroni tag teams, all the tag teams that aren't really important, they all had to stand on the stage to, like, watch the Jurassic Express win. Was it just heel teams?
Pretty sure. I don't feel there was any face teams out there.
Were O'Reilly, Fish, and Cole there?
Yeah, they're heels, though.
Were the Bucks there?
Nah, they were not.
Doesn't one of the Bucks have COVID, though? I think there's a Buck who
there
has
you
COVID,
go.
right? Young Buck.
You would know. I did not hear anything about this.
Matt Jackson has COVID.
That's confirmed?
Yeah. Matt Jackson tested positive for COVID.
Well, there you go.
Yes. That's why they
have an out.
There. Okay, there you go. Matt has COVID. Yeah. So we are hoping for a speedy recovery for Matt Jackson, but that's why the Bucks weren't there. Okay. I was ready to be mad about that, but then I remembered, wait a second. There's a good reason why they weren't there. It was weird to see like everybody in AEW on this show with no Young Bucks. So it was like, where are those guys? They're usually on every show. At one point, I don't know if you noticed this, John. This match between Jurassic Express and Lucha Brothers was okay, but it was
sloppy.
a little shaky, right? It was sloppy.
I thought it was sloppy. Yeah.
At one point, Pentagon is setting up Jungle Boy on the apron for like a move. And the big dinosaur guy standing right there looking at him. He's not doing anything.
I know.
He's like, oh, Pentagon's setting up my tag team partner for a move. Isn't that something? I should do something about it, but I know Rey Fenix is on the other side of the ring, and he's running, and he's about to dive on me, so I'll just stand here looking like a complete idiot while my tag team partner gets obliterated by Pentagon. If you're going to do these dives in these, like, super complicated spots, like, they have to make sense. They have to make sense. When you see a gigantic dinosaur mask guy watching his tag team partner get set up for a move on the apron and he does nothing, it kills the match. Makes the Luchasaurus look dumb. That was bad. Like, that was very bad. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, that was kind of sloppy. It was just like, hey, man, that's your partner. Like, do something. Oh, no, this is fake. You're waiting for a dive. Oh, I see. Awful.
Well, there was that moment. There was also the moment where they decide not to tag, and then Phoenix just comes in anyways. And the ref's like, hey, you didn't make a tag, but they still come in. And then it looks like they screwed something up there with Luchasaurus and Pentagon, and they still went right to the spot anyways, where they had like a double pin at the same time. It just looked really off. But I find this is a lot of Lucha Brother matches. Like, yeah, there's exciting moves, but to get there, it's kind of rough in between. Like, a lot of the match doesn't make a lot of sense. Because I know that's Lucha Libre style, but it doesn't really work well when you're trying to watch this. Like, when you see other matches, and it's like, well, they actually follow the rules.
When you are doing a Lucha Libre style match with other Lucha Libre style wrestlers, it doesn't look weird. It looks fine. It's like, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But when you're doing it against, like, American-style wrestlers, and I don't give a shit if his name is Luchasaurus, like, he's not a Lucha Libre wrestler, right? He's, like, 6'7", and he moves real clunky. He's not, and he's American, you know? It's a gimmick. He's not a lucha, and neither is Jungle Boy. They're not luchas. And when you go in there and have this type of match with these guys, and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, like, they're pretty green. They're pretty awkward. They're not great. Jungle Boy is slightly better, but man, Luchasaurus. I think he broke Rey Fenix's arm tonight. Or maybe Rey Fenix broke his own arm. I don't know. But his arm's definitely broken, I'll tell you that much. Alex Abrahante set up a table. Christian chased him off. But the table was set up ringside. And Luchasaurus choke slams Rey Fenix off the apron through the table, and his arm goes, like, the other way. You see him come up, and his arm is, like, bending the wrong way. I've been in enough arm bars and put on enough arm bars to know, like, your arm, it can bend this way. It doesn't bend that way. You start to hyperextend that arm, that's when you get the tap, tap, tap. So if you see the arm and it's bent the other way, it's broken. I've seen it happen a lot. And that's what happened to Rey Fenix. His arm broke. Clearly broken. Johnny, you actually told me about it just before we started the show. You're like, yeah, Rey Fenix looks like his arm broke. And I was like, oh, yeah? Looked like a rough bump, but I didn't really notice his arm. And then I went back and I caught a clip on Twitter. Yeah, his arm broke. It's broken. It's snapped. It's bad. So a good thing that the Lucha Brothers dropped the tag titles because they can't defend them anymore because one half of their tag team is injured. And the Jurassic Express are the new tag team champions. Yeah, right? It's like, oh, that was fortunate. Good time to get hurt. The match was, like you said, John, sloppy. But that's what you get with Jurassic Express matches and Lucha Brothers match. Like, all these guys, I think Lucha Brothers are much better when they face teams like the Young Bucks or, when they were wrestling Kenny and Hangman or something like that. Even FTR, who kind of have a better grasp of pro wrestling. But I'm sorry, Luchasaurus is not great. He's not. Remember that Cesar Bononi thing? He hasn't really got much better. Are they over? Or is their theme song over?
Huge. It helps a lot to have the theme song over, but I think Jungle Boy is really over quite a bit. They keep pushing him as he's like the future, and they had to give him something, I think. Like, he's come up short too many times, and it came to the point where they had to finally give him something, or you stop believing in him to ever actually win a big match. He had to win a big match finally.
Yeah. And it's good that Jungle Boy was the one who got the pin, because Jungle Boy is the star of that team. Right. I get it. I just, I don't know how much there is with Jungle Boy. I think his promos are getting better, though, and if he gets a little size, he'll be a big star in pro wrestling. But there's just, a lot missing right now. For him to be called one of the 4 pillars of AEW, right, with MJF and Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara even, he's not on their level.
I agree with you, 100%.
Right?
But there's definitely potential. There's no question about it.
Sure.
And, people are behind him. So, I mean, you try to run with that as much as you possibly can. You put him in with people that know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's gotten better because of that. But the thing is, too, he's taken quite a few losses. And now you finally have to show that he can be a champion.
Christian being by his side, I think, helps. I don't know what it is about pairing with Christian, but it can turn an average wrestler into a top-level performer and a guy who can cut amazing promos. AJ Styles was like, an 85, type performer. And then he started teaming with Christian, and Christian taught him how to do promos. Then AJ Styles became like a 100, like a perfect wrestler. Remember that in TNA when AJ was just like a spot monkey? You remember that, AJ Styles? Spot monkey guy, whatever. And then Christian was like, come, AJ, you're going to hang out with us, me and Tomko. And then all of a sudden, AJ Styles had this personality. Christian brought it out of him. Christian made AJ Styles, okay? And hopefully he can do the same with Jungle Boy. Because what he did with AJ Styles was nothing short of magic. Like, he turned him into this kind of average guy that was, like, not much different than Chris Sabin or Alex Shelley or whoever was in the X Division at the time. And then all of a sudden, it's like, holy shit, this guy's got a character. This guy's got personality. This is the phenomenal one. And now look at him, Like, the AJ Styles you see today does not exist without the help of Christian and TNA. So hopefully he can do that with Jungle Boy. Sorry, go ahead.
You got to also realize, too, like, Jungle Boy is not at the level that AJ Styles was at his age either. I mean,
not in the ring.
He might become a better character.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the ring, like, it's not even close there. Like,
but marketability, Jungle Boy's got the Luke Perry, thing. Luke Perry is his father. So he's got the Hollywood connection. Right. And, there's something about him. Ladies love Jungle Boy. And I'm sure some men, too. There's something about Jungle Boy. Apparently, he's very popular with the ladies. Apparently, he's very handsome. I don't see it. He looks like Griff Garrison to me. I mean, I don't see the difference.
He looks like a kid.
I don't really see
Scruffy kid
with, like, a lot of hair. I don't know. I don't really get it. But, hey, he's dating Anna Jay, so he must be doing something right. Right? Because Anna Jay, I see Anna Jay, and I get that. I understand the appeal with Anna Jay. I see her, I'm like, oh, yeah. And Jungle Boy is dating her. So I've heard, all the ladies that talk about Jungle Boy, they all love him. So there's definitely some marketability there, and you can make money off Jungle Boy in that way as well. Which, look at Roman Reigns. I think without female support, Roman Reigns would not be nearly the star that he is today. You need that, especially as a babyface.
Well, it's going to help Jungle Boy without question, but I think really just focusing on the character right now, that's his greatest weakness. If he can just improve on that, that will help them tenfold.
New tag team champions in AEW. I think it's fun. It's a little bit of a change. The Lucha Brothers weren't doing much with them. I'm not mad that the Lucha Brothers dropped the belts because as tag team champions, they were, what does MJF say? Mid? They were mid. I think Jurassic Express will be mid as well, though. I mean, I'm not a huge fan, but.
Yeah, but they were like an underdog team, and they actually won. So now it also feels like they could lose at any time. So that actually kind of makes it more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully FTR beats them. Put the belts back on FTR. They're the best tag team in AEW. And then let's go with the FTR against the Briscoes. Did the Briscoes really sign with AEW? Is that confirmed? People were telling me on the chat. I've been seeing different rumors, but I don't know if that's real. Not Jack and Jerry, but the younger Briscoes. The Briscoe with an E.
Mark and Jay.
Yeah, those guys. The redneck guys.
Right. They're a little crazier.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah. I like those guys, though. They're amazing wrestlers. They're one of the best tag teams in the world and have been for like a decade, right? I remember when I saw those guys on the first ever Ring of Honor pay-per-view, possibly, against the Kings of Wrestling at that point. Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli. Is that possible? I feel like that was the match. I don't know if it was.
I don't know if it was the first pay-per-view, but I definitely think it happened on a ROH pay-per-view. There's no question about it.
Maybe it was the first one that was available in Canada or something. I just remember it was like first Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and I remember ordering it and being blown away mostly by Claudio Castagnoli and thinking, who the hell is this guy? This is the most amazing wrestler I've ever seen in my life. And, of course, he became Cesaro, and then you know what happened there. But, yeah, the Briscoes are amazing. I've been a huge fan of these guys for a very long time, and I hope that AEW signs them. They are controversial in some of the things that they say and do, but as far as pro wrestlers, there are very few that are better. So, them against FTR, let's go. That's tag team wrestling, That's what we want to see. The Jurassic Express against Lucha Brothers, it's a little, it's kind of the kids' table. Let's get to the grown man shit, right?
I don't disagree with you whatsoever, but that's not what we're working with right now. Let's see what they have. They have enough tag teams. They don't really need to bring in the Briscoes, really.
So you're putting your Tony Khan Jacksonville Jaguars hat on, and you're not signing the Briscoes.
I'm just saying that they have enough tag teams. They don't have to sign them. I mean, if you can sign them, sure, but
so why not?
The thing is, too, like,
would you sign them if you're Tony Khan right now? You're looking at your roster. You're Tony Khan. Do you sign them?
I would, but I don't know if it's long term though.
Like what? 6 months? Show to
yeah, maybe
2-3 shows.
Yeah, that's about it. I think.
I don't know. I would bring them in on a short-time basis as a tryout to see if they can behave on a national stage, and then see what you can do. Because they say some pretty, awful things on social media. I mean, awful, I don't agree with the things that they say sometimes, so yeah. If they can behave, keep them around. They're great. Jade Cargill, TBS champion. She beat Ruby Soho. Mercedes Martinez, who's Jade's backup, she came to ringside, but Thunder Rosa immediately showed up and attacked her, so it looks like Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez might be entering a little program. Maybe we'll do Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill right off the bat here for the TBS title. Could be Jade's first opponent defending. This match was, well, what am I going to say? I'm wearing the Jade Cargill t-shirt. You tell me how this match was, John. I think it was all right, but, there were some moments. Jade went to splash Ruby in the corner, and Ruby was just, gone way before Jade got there. There was just some things where Jade, her timing was off on some stuff. But this is, I think they said her 26th pro wrestling match. For your 26th match, you're wrestling on TV. She had to wrestle, about 10 minutes tonight? I thought she did pretty good.
Like this was better than the match against Thunder Rosa. I'll give you that, but that's not much of an improvement. It still showed that I think they rushed this way too quick for her to put her in this kind of position. Like I understand have her undefeated. That's pretty much a huge thing. You have to keep going. I understand that, but to put her in this position where she had to win the championship, I think it was too soon. Like they shouldn't have done that because like to have these longer matches, it's too much for her right now. She gets exposed too easily. You gotta like hide her in that sense, and they didn't do a good job of that. Like she can compete with top level people, but maybe have it more in tag matches so it's not shown as badly like some of the spots that are blown. There was other things too, like near the end as well, if not mistaken.
This was not so bad. She was not so bad. I think she's fine as the champion. She's practicing on TV. So be it. She's passable. She's better than a lot of the people that they have. I see a lot of these people that they put on TV. I'm like, oh. Like, I think she's better than Luchasaurus. And he's been wrestling for years. He was in WWE Developmental. Jade's had 26 matches. The finish was a little funny. Jade has
Right.
Ruby in the glam slam thing there, the jaded slam. She's on the second rope. She puts one foot on the top rope and thinks about it. And you can see her thinking about it like, top rope? And then she's like, it's a little shaky. And she's like, second rope. Hits the slam, second rope, 1, 2, 3.
Well, it's fine off the second. Like
that's
top
fine.
rope, that would have been extremely dangerous.
Yeah,
Just to lift her too.
Somebody might have died off the top rope. Like, I feared for Ruby's safety if they did off the top rope. Like, Jade, she was there. She's on the second rope. Puts her foot on the top rope. Kind of judges it. Decides, this isn't the way to go. Second rope is enough. Boom. 1, 2, 3. I thought that showed a lot of poise in the situation. You know, a lot of wrestlers would say, well, I plan to go to the top rope, so I'm just going to go to the top rope. And then they crumple in a heap, and that's the finish, and it's a total mess. That finish could have been horrible. But Jade, in the moment, decides second rope is good, hits the deal on the second rope, beats her, it's over. Didn't break her arm. Nobody got hurt. Match was good. Jade's a champ. Done deal. I was fine with that. I thought it was a smart move by Jade to say, you know what, let's not do this top rope thing. We're good. We're good. Jade Cargill.
Some brought back the Hose championship. I feel like they fixed it, didn't they? Like
I don't know.
They slightly, like there's more of a spacing, I find. Before there was enough of a spacing, I find there's a little bit more of a spacing, so it doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah. Maybe they did. I don't know. I didn't get a good look at the title belt, but it did look like TBS said Hose before. But now I think it just looks like TBS. Hopefully. Jade Cargill is the new TBS champion, the first ever TBS champion. And I saw Big Swole put out a tweet with Jade Cargill celebrating, so Big Swole is happy about that, which is nice. All's well that ends well. Right? We're all good. Problem solved. Jade is the champion. That's how we need it to be. 2 new champions tonight on AEW TV. Jade Cargill and the Jurassic Express, new tag team champions. Didn't see 3 new champions, though. Hangman is still the AEW World Champion. I was really hoping for that trifecta, John. I was hoping for a big night for Team Dave. Old Jade, old Brian, getting the belts, bringing it home, doing it big. Not so. I was hoping for Brie Bella to come out, help her man, get the win. My God, the heat that would get. Maybe they're saving Brie for a pay-per-view. God, I hope they bring in Brie Bella. I don't know if there's anything I'd rather see in AEW for some reason. I'm really not sure why, but the Bella twins in AEW would be the ultimate thing for me. Can't explain it. I just think the heat would be tremendous. I don't know if they would get more heat anywhere else than in AEW. If Brie and Nikki came out, if Nikki Bella came out and like beat Britt Baker or something, holy shit. People would lose their minds. And I'd be laughing and loving it.
Yeah, that really wouldn't make much sense whatsoever, so hopefully that never happens. But I do have one major complaint here. Like, we have a show called Battle of the Belts coming up Saturday, and it feels like we just kind of had Battle of the Belts tonight.
Yeah.
So I feel like, if you have a special, like maybe have like your big matches on the special, because I feel like the special isn't really a big deal. Like, tonight was the big deal.
Who cares about that special?
Exactly.
Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT title again. Wah, wah. Britt Baker versus Riho for the AEW Women's Championship. Like, Riho ain't winning. And she better not be winning. Riho.
Well, if you've seen the package for it, like the whole thing is the fact that, Britt Baker's never beaten her. I mean, if that's the main thing you're running with, then obviously she's going to beat her then.
Yup. As she should. Britt's the only one with personality. Who is Riho? What's the difference between Riho and Hikaru Shida? Except for their outfits and their look. Like, they're both Japanese women's wrestlers with zero personality. We don't know anything about them. Oh, yeah, she got a kendo stick and she comes out. But they have no personality. They've both been champions for longer than Britt Baker was ever champion in AEW, and we don't know anything about them. What do we know about Shida? What do we know about Riho? We know very little. AEW has done a terrible job of giving personality and background to some of these women that don't speak English. Okay, they don't speak English. Fine. They speak minimal English. You don't want to have them do promos. Fine. Figure out a way to tell us who they are so we care about them. Because there's something about pro wrestling, when you're watching wrestling matches, you have to care about who you're watching. Otherwise, it doesn't register. And you don't really want to watch, which is why no one's going to watch Britt Baker versus Riho on Saturday night. Because no one cares about Riho. No one. You want confirmation on that? Go to any Walmart. Look at all the Riho action figures just sitting there on the shelves. Nobody's buying the Rihos. Nobody. Nobody wants Riho. Nobody cares about Riho. Try to find a Britt Baker. You can't find a Britt Baker because people care about her. Can't find her figures on the shelf. You can find a Riho. Doug and Nick have a Britt Baker. I sent it to them. Shout out to Doug and Nick. They got the stuff I sent them out in Kingston, Ontario. Nobody cares about Riho. Nobody wants to see Riho beat Britt Baker. Riho's a babyface. She's facing the champion. Is there anybody cheering for Riho?
Probably Kenny, but it doesn't seem like Kenny's in charge of the women's division anymore, so too bad.
Right. Nobody cares about Riho.
Well, she's a good wrestler, though. I'll give her that.
Of course.
Like, she's exciting to actually watch in the ring. Like, she's good.
This is no fault of Riho's. This is AEW's fault. I think Riho is excellent. In the ring, very good. Little small.
98 pounds, yes.
Yeah.
Very small.
A little small. For somebody who strikes that much, it's kind of like, do you have anything behind those strikes? Because they seem kind of like baby punches. However, she has ability. She is athletic. She can bump her ass off. But I don't know anything about her other than she wears that little skirt and she waves when she comes to the ring. She's Japanese and she wrestles. Her name is Riho. What else do we know about her? Britt Baker. She's a DMD. She's a dentist. She says DMD a lot. She has Rebel, who's her friend. She has Jamie Hayter, who's her bodyguard. She's married to Adam Cole. She's AEW Women's Champion. She has attitude.
Engaged.
Whatever. Who
or
cares?
just like, in a relationship.
Whatever.
It.
She has sex relations with Adam Cole, baby. Okay? She's a champion. She's, there's stuff going on with Britt Baker. You know her personality. She got Tony Schiavone with her. Like, there's a whole thing going on with Britt Baker. Right. But she's figured out a way, and they've figured out a way to make her into something. Very few others on this roster have become a character. Jade Cargill's got a character. Look at her. She's a monster. She's very muscular. She's that bitch. She's got that lawyer guy talking for her. You know? There's something with Jade Cargill. Chris Statlander's an alien who hangs out with Orange Cassidy. I guess that's something. But very few of these women have any kind of personality. Thunder Rosa is Mexican. That's it. She's got an attitude. She's angry a lot. She's Mexican. She wears face paint, and she wrestles. What else do we know about Thunder Rosa? Is she even Mexican?
Gosh.
Because I know, she's...
It's like Eddie Guerrero, I think.
Right, she's born in the States, but she's got Mexican heritage and stuff. I don't even know where she's born. I don't know. I assume she's Mexican because she seems to talk about Mexico sometimes. Other than that...
Well, she was introduced as the NWA Women's Champion when she came to AEW. Remember, she came in, was like, Sheeta was beating everybody, and she's like, well, you haven't beaten me kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Like, she's a great wrestler, and, sure, but there's just not much character behind it because they're given no promo time. Thankfully, tonight, we saw some progress with Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb may be the best women's wrestler in AEW, if not the entire world today. She is fantastic. And tonight...
She's very good, yeah.
I mean, right? If she is, I would say, top 5 in the world today of women's wrestlers.
Not on the mic, but I would say maybe in the ring, yeah.
In the ring. Not on the mic, but in the ring, right? She's up there with like a Becky and a Charlotte and like she's very good.
Oh, she trained at like pretty much all of them, didn't she?
There you go.
Right.
Like she said tonight in her promo, she's paid more dues than the entire locker room combined. This was a good interview. Thunder Rosa from Tijuana, California. Wait. Is that Mexico? Tijuana is Mexico, but California, isn't it Baja California? I don't think it's California. I think isn't it Baja California?
Well, now you got to check it because now you're questioning it too much.
It's south of
Thankfully, the internet can.
The Pacific coast of Baja California, which I think is a state or. What is it? What do they have in Mexico? Provinces? States? States, right? Yeah, it's a state. Baja California is the state that Tijuana is in. Watched a lot of Narcos Mexico, so I know about the geography a little bit. Baja California. Sí, claro. Claro que sí. So So Thunder Rosa is from Tijuana in Mexico. So she is Mexican. Born in Mexico. Not from California, from Baja California. Not like Rey Mysterio, who's Mexican, but he's from San Diego, California, which is very close to Tijuana, which is where Rey cut his teeth in the wrestling business, right? Right. What the fuck was I talking about? I'll just talk about Tijuana.
We're talking about Serena Deeb?
Oh, yeah. So it's good promo. She does a backstage interview with JR. Thank you, John. I liked it.
Trying to get back on track.
Yeah, man. Like, this is personality from Serena Deeb, talking about she's a veteran. She, okay, who is Serena Deeb before tonight? I don't know. She's a wrestler. She used to wrestle in NWA. I know that CM Punk shaved her head like years ago in WWE, but other than that. But tonight she's like, I'm a veteran. Nobody's on my level. I've paid my dues. I'm, all these people getting opportunities. It should be me. I'm the one. Like, Sheeta, it's not about Sheeta. It's about me taking my place among the what. Like, it was good. She established herself as the angry vet who's mad at these younger women taking her spot. She's a better wrestler, and she's going to go and prove it. She's going to take out Sheeta, and then she's going to march her ass down the roster and beat everybody and maybe be champion or whatever, right? Like, at least there was some sort of direction and some sort of personality shown from Serena Deeb tonight, which is so damn rare because the only woman who ever gets to cut a promo on AEW TV is Britt Baker, which is great. It's made her a star. But what about everybody else? So thank you getting Serena Deeb some mic time tonight. She needed it because she's really talented in the ring, and I think the last promo she cut was horrible, so this helped. This was good. right? This wasn't a bad promo.
Well, I think it just goes to show if they're not good at cutting promos, maybe just stick it to pre-tapes.
Yep.
So then you can kind of cover up the fact that they're not really good live. I think that helps a lot. Having someone like JR as well that gets people interested, see what it's going to be like. You understand what the mood's going to be. It's going to be a bit more serious when JR's there.
Yes. He adds to it so much, right? He's so good.
Well, just his presence. He doesn't have to really say much. They don't let him say much, but just his presence, it adds something.
Yep. He's got presence. MJF comes to the ring for a match with somebody. CM Punk comes out.
Sean Dean,
the captain, Sean Dean. CM Punk runs out, and MJF leaves the ring. Punk then hits the go-to-sleep on Sean Dean, which causes a disqualification, which, very rare to have a disqualification in AEW. This may have been the first AEW DQ ever. I don't know. They never happen.
Second or third.
Okay, but they're very rare, and this one was awkward because it didn't seem like the match between MJF and Sean Dean actually started, but CM Punk ran in and hits Sean Dean with his finisher, so then the ref is like, yeah, MJF, you lose by disqualification. Not great. I didn't, like that match didn't start, right?
Well, the bell rang, so.
Okay. This was really about the promo. Punk cuts a promo and says, MJF, every time you have a match, this is going to happen. You're going to lose all your matches by disqualification because I'm going to attack your opponents. MJF says, Punk, everything out of your mouth is fake and induces boredom. You are not the savior that the people have been waiting for. You sold Tony Khan a bill of goods and you're not delivering. You're no good. Punk, you got offended when I said that I was like Roddy Piper. Well, what's the matter, Punk? Do you think you're Roddy Piper? Because I'll tell you something, CM Punk. Roddy Piper was talented enough to main event a WrestleMania, which was tremendous line. Of course, Punk famously left the WWE because they wouldn't let him main event WrestleMania. I mean, that was like a big thing. That was one of his goals, and they never let him do it, so he left. Also, he didn't want to wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania, which, all right. MJF calls Punk PG Punk, and then the fans start chanting PG Punk. I don't know if they were chanting that in favor of CM Punk or like against him, or they just like PG Punk. Like, were they on MJF's side at that point? What happened? Also, MJF burying New Jersey, but in Long Island, he's welcome as a hero. You're telling me nobody that was at that Long Island show traveled to Jersey to see MJF? It's not that far. Newark and Long Island, like, it's not. Anyways, MJF, a huge heel in Jersey. Long Island, he's a hero. I was surprised. I thought he'd get some love in Jersey too, but apparently not. MJF has been calling Jersey a cesspool and stuff like that, so understandable. Although, if you've ever been to Newark, let me tell you, it's not my favorite place. I've been to Newark. It's not,
You saw Bellator there, no?
No, I've never been to a Bellator. I went to a Strikeforce in Jersey. I don't think that was Newark. I saw a UFC in Newark. It was John Jones beat Shogun at the Prudential Center. I went to Newark for that. I think the Strikeforce show was something else, some other place in Jersey. MJF says that if he's not shown the proper respect around here in AEW, then maybe he'll leave and main event a WrestleMania. Punk tells MJF if he thinks the grass is greener, he should go there and main event night 4 of a buy one, get one free extravaganza and then get released and come back to AEW so CM Punk can kick his ass again. There's a lot of WWE talk in this promo. There's been a lot of WWE talk among the CM Punk MJF promos, right? A lot of WWE references, and Roddy Piper, and WrestleMania, and grass is greener, and then Punk taking a shot at WrestleMania being multiple nights and them not being able to sell tickets. Says, oh, you'll be on night 4 of a buy one, get one free extravaganza. Like, it's a real shot at WrestleMania in the WWE. It's less of a shot at MJF and more of a shot at the WWE, which at this point I guess CM Punk hasn't fully got out of his system. I don't know how much this promo did to advance the feud between these two guys. I think it just kind of...
We got a match next week.
Yeah, but it's CM Punk versus Wardlow. Fans chant bullshit. Not happy about it. You think Wardlow hits 5 powerbombs in CM Punk next week and gets the win? That's what he did tonight against Antonio Zambrano. 5 powerbombs. Zambrano actually left the ring before the match. Sean Spears hit him with a Death Valley driver outside the ring, rolled him into the ring. They start the match. Wardlow hits 5 powerbombs that the crowd loved. The crowd was into Wardlow, asking for one more after each powerbomb. 5 powerbombs, that was the match. He wins. Wardlow's been hitting powerbombs on everybody to win his matches lately. Next week, he goes one-on-one with CM Punk. I don't know what happens. Wardlow's been on a run. He's been winning matches.
Right.
He's been on a tear. But now he's wrestling CM Punk, not one of these jabronis. So you figure Punk will win. However, there could be something interesting going on here. Could be some weird finish. And Wardlow losing to Punk clean right now, I think would hurt Wardlow's momentum that he seems to be getting. Like, I think there's something to Wardlow now. He's hitting these power bombs. People start to like it, you know? He's getting over a little bit. Do you want to kill that with a match with Punk?
Well, you don't have a clean finish. I mean, MJF gets involved somehow, some way. But it could backfire, I think. Then Punk gets the win that way. I think it goes down like that. And it pushes the fact that you could see them break up the Pinnacle, possibly. Like, you could see them fall apart, possibly next week.
The whole Pinnacle just falling apart.
Well, I mean, FTR kind of really does their own thing. I mean,
yeah,
that doesn't take much for them to really not be with them. They're not there anyways, really. But
yeah,
I could see because you can see with Spears, like it feels like that's gonna eventually fall apart. I think
Spears versus Wardlow seems like where we're headed, right?
Yeah, and then MJF later on, I think.
Yeah, I could see Wardlow breaking off from the whole group next week, but I don't know how the match with CM Punk shakes out. Should be interesting. The Acclaimed have promised a music video about Darby Allin for next week's Dynamite, which is strange. Like, they cut a promo about Darby Allin and stuff, and then they're like, next week we're going to do a music video about you. And we're like, all right. Couldn't you have just done the promo tonight and kind of had a match next week? But no. I like the Acclaim, though, and whatever they have going, I'm sure it'll be good because their promos are good. Especially when they're rapping. Well, the one guy's rapping. The other guy just kind of stands there, but Max Caster's good. And Anthony Bowens had a hell of a match with Darby Allin on Rampage last week, so I'm a fan of the Acclaimed. Did you see that? Did you see Rampage last week? We weren't on, right?
Only
New Year's Eve.
Bits and pieces, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Bowens-Darby match was tremendous. Really, really good. Really good. Chris Jericho cuts an in-ring promo. What is going on with Jericho's hair? His hair was melting. Did you not see that, John? His hair was like dyed a weird color, not a natural color. It was almost like yellowish brown. It's like the color of like poop, you know, kind of like a bad poop, like a baby's poop, you know. I don't know what did a baby shit in his hair? What the hell was going on there? It looked like it was melting too. There was like color coming off the scalp. Like it wasn't just in the hair. It was like on the skin. His hair looked bad. Haven't seen Jericho for a bit. He came out looking different. I'm like, what's different with Jericho? I think his beard is a little trimmer. And then wait a second, his hair. What the hell?
But I think what happened is he just put the wrong color, it looked like to me. That's what it seemed like.
Is he that gray that he has to dye his hair now?
Well, I think he's been doing it for a while, but for whatever reason, the color was just off. So I think he's just changed up the color, and it doesn't work with his hair. Because, like, you know, he was blonde for a little bit, wasn't he? Like,
yeah. Yeah, this was like some sort of like yellow-brown. I don't know what was going on with his hair tonight. The color was weird. Ugh.
It's a weird mix. Whatever he did.
And, like, 2.0 come out, they got to talk about it. Like, Come on, Big Magic. I know you're a fan of the show. Big Magic and Scott Parker, they're Montreal guys. They're aware of us. We know. We know those guys. Big Magic, when this guy is saying you got a square head, you can say, yeah, well, what's going on with your head here exactly? What's going on here top of your head there, Jericho, my friend? Say something. Say something. Make a crack about it. Because everybody watching TV is like, what the hell is going on with this guy's hair? And when you are the heels and Jericho's making fun of your appearance, you got a square head and you got a pinhead. When you say something back, you gotta get him with something so that the people watching will go, oh, that was a good line by Big Magic there. You hear when he said about Jericho's hair? But instead, they just look like jabronis. They have no lines. They have nothing funny to say. You know, when Jericho's like, hey, guys, you got a pinhead and you got a square head. One of these guys, Parker, Big Magic, we got beautiful heads. We look at each other's heads all day. We got the nicest heads. Nobody's got a nicer head than ours. Like, talk about how beautiful your head is. Don't say, hey, you don't call me a pinhead. Don't call me a square head. Like, add a line to make it comedic. It's already a joke. You're there to be comedy act. Be funnier. I mean, it's a tough criticism to just say, be funny. But, you know, there were opportunities there to have a good promo with Chris Jericho. You're in the ring with Chris Jericho. You have an opportunity to do something, and the segment just came off flat, and the only thing I remember is Jericho's weird hair. I wish Big Magic and Scott Parker would have said something. I know that they have the ability to talk, and they have the ability to be funny. I've seen their YouTube show. I know that they have the skill. In that moment, it's like they froze. National TV, international TV, live TV, Chris Jericho, a childhood hero, I'm sure, for both these guys. However, it's business time. Get to business. Talk about how nice your head is. I don't have a square head. You know Jericho's going to say something about your square head. Say, oh, my head is perfectly round. It's a perfect cylinder. Look at this. You never seen a rounder head. It's not square. Like, just talk about how round your head is. It's like a donut. Look at me, donut.
Well,
you know, like something. Sorry, go ahead.
I think you're right, though. I think they showed too much respect.
Yeah.
And that they didn't really have any comebacks because they wanted to be nice to Jericho because, you know, they look up to him, right? He's kind of like a hero in a sense. So they didn't really fire anything back. They just were all in the defensive. And, yeah, it just came off like, yeah, they're really had nothing to say, which is too bad. Because I'm sure they could come up with something, but they were just holding back to be out of respect, I guess.
Yeah. But when you do that, the segment comes off flat, you know? Like, fire back at Jericho. Say, yeah, well, what's going on with your hair? Say something about the hair. If they would have said one thing about the hair, segment would have been good. We would have been fine. However, Jericho's like, oh, I'm going to get a baseball bat. He leaves the ring, comes back with a baseball bat, 2.0 just standing there like jabroni's about to get hit with a bat, right? Like, they have no retort. Jericho's like, you got a stupid head. You're ugly. And they're like, no, we're not. And then Jericho leaves the ring, and they're like, oh, where's he going? And then he gets a bat, and they're like, oh, no. Like, they have nothing. They're just there. They're bodies. It's sad. Daniel Garcia showed up, who's their son or whatever. He takes a bat shot from Jericho, but then 2.0 attacked Jericho. It's 3-on-1 for half a second. Santana, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston show up and chase them off. And that sets up a match. It'll be Daniel Garcia and 2.0 versus Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz in a street fight set for Rampage on Friday. So we set up a match. But the segment itself was kind of flat, and the only thing I cared about was Jericho's weird hair. Adam Cole with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish cut a backstage promo. Cole says Kyle didn't mean to kick him in the face last week, and they're all friends again. Cole wants them to accept being a super group with the Young Bucks, and they seem not so down with that idea. Cole talks about wrestling Jake Atlas on Rampage this Friday. It'll be Adam Cole versus Jake Atlas. Who's Jake Atlas?
He used to wrestle on NXT.
Okay. Didn't he wrestle in AEW too? And then he went to NXT and now he's back? Was that him?
I don't feel like he did. I feel like
Okay.
they wanted to sign him like a while back, but he went to NXT instead.
Okay. Kenny Marquez.
Wrestled quite a few times in PWG.
He wrestled in Ring of Honor a little bit. He's openly gay. Huh, I didn't know that. He retired from pro wrestling briefly. 27 years old. Wow.
Or he retired after the NXT thing.
Right. He retired from wrestling after NXT. And then AEW's like, come on. And he's like, all right, cool. Like Leo Rush. If you retire from wrestling, they're like, no, come on. So they got Jake Atlas. And, they showed a little promo video of him, and he looked pretty talented. Like, he had some nice moves, but I haven't really seen much of him. I don't know much about him. But I'll watch him on Rampage, and we'll see. Have you seen him wrestle much? Do you know much about him? I don't know.
I've seen him quite a few times in NXT. Like, he was definitely a good cruiserweight.
Okay.
I don't know if he's got some sort of, like, confidence issues or, like, self-esteem thing, because I guess maybe that was a problem. That's why he retired, I guess, from wrestling, because he had anxiety issues or something.
Okay.
So, but I guess he's gotten through that now, and now he's happy where he is. So, wait and see what happens. But I mean, talented in the ring, there's no question. I don't know much of a character though. I didn't really see much of a character. Just a good worker.
I was gonna make a bad joke about Lars Sullivan and how he had to leave wrestling due to anxiety issues, and then maybe him and Jake could bond over that and maybe make some videos together. But I'm not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna go there. Sorry, John.
Can't believe you even just said stuff like that. To be
Well,
honest,
it's funny. It's funny. Lars Sullivan did pornos. It was funny. Anyways, I'm just saying. Whatever happened to that guy? Where is he now? Lars Sullivan. Nobody's gonna sign him to wrestle. He's just done. That was it. WWE was like, this guy's a monster, and then they're like, yeah, all right, forget about it.
Well, that was the only big thing about him, was that he just looked
Scary.
Scary.
He did though. He looked really scary. Like, not many guys are that big and look that scary. And he wasn't terrible as a wrestler, but apparently had like anxiety issues and he couldn't go out to the ring or whatever happened. I don't know. Anyways.
Well, there's anything too. Like, maybe he just doesn't want to wrestle again. I mean, it happened with Atlas. It's happened with Nia Jax as well. Like, she just don't want to wrestle anymore.
Nia Jax
it's not
quit.
WWE, then
she quit wrestling, right? She's not going to wrestle anymore.
If
That's
it's not
crazy.
WWE, it's nothing.
Yeah. Doug Hepburn says, great reaction by Johnny when you did Donut Face, Dave. Did you? I didn't see your reaction.
I think I just had my head down and like shaking a little bit. That was it.
Yeah, you're ashamed of me. And no, Ray.
Only tonight.
Jake Atlas. most nights. Most nights, John. Let's be honest. Jake Atlas is not related to Tony Atlas because Jake Atlas's real name is Kenny Marquez, and Tony Atlas, his real name is Anthony White. Little known fact, he's Dana White's father, Tony Atlas.
I don't think that's true, but okay.
All right, fine. My condolences to Dana White and the whole White family mourning the loss of Dana's grandmother, Betty.
Didn't he have problems with like his family or something? Or
did you not hear the joke I just made, John? You didn't catch the goddamn joke. I'm saying
no.
I'm saying
Danny?
I'm saying Denny. I'm saying Dana White is mourning the loss of his grandmother, Betty.
Oh, yes.
God.
It was nice, by the way. AEW apparently did like a tribute for her. That's
Why?
pretty nice.
Was she a wrestler?
I mean, she was in wrestling if you think about it.
She was?
She guest hosted Raw, remember?
Oh, that's all right. I don't know about that. I saw a magazine cover. It was People Magazine today at a Walmart. I saw People Magazine. The cover was Betty White turns 100. I was like, what? I almost bought it just out of the, sheer novelty, She turns 100. She never turned 100, John. Get it? She died at 99. Anyways.
That's sad. It's too bad.
I mean, is it sad when a 99-year-old dies? Like, people are like, oh, my God, what a tragedy. Betty White died. She's 99. Her whole gimmick is that she was old. Like, you get old and die. It's life. Most people don't live to be 99. I don't think it's sad when a 99-year-old dies. It's like, God damn, she lived to be 99. Good for her. I don't think it's sad, honestly. When somebody dies at 99, you're like, yeah, well, got to go sometime. It's like, oh, well, she just missed 100 by 2 weeks. I think when you're 99, you're not even really aware of how old you are or when your birthday is or if you're alive or dead at that point. 99 years old, I think you're a little loopy. I heard a story about... I don't want to digress here, talk about Betty White, but I watched... I was just listening to Carrot Top on the Joe Rogan show. Don't ask me why, but...
This is recent?
I need something to listen to. Yeah, recently. And Carrot Top is like, I was on a Tonight Show with Betty White, and years earlier I was in a movie with Betty White, a Dennis the Menace movie. So I go up to Betty White and I say, hey, Betty, I just wanted to say hi. And she's like, oh, what do you do? And Carrot Top's like, oh, I'm a rapper, He was joking around. But she didn't know. She had no idea. And he's like, actually, Betty, we did a movie together. And this was 15 years ago that Carrot Top saw Betty White. Right? She's in her 80s at this point. She's not in her 90s. She's in her 80s when Carrot Top sees her at the Tonight Show. And he's like, we did a movie together years ago, Betty White. She's like, oh, what movie was it? And he's like, oh, it's the Dennis the Menace movie. And Betty White looks at him, stone face. They made a movie about Dennis the Menace? She was in it. So don't tell me that she was aware of how old she was or what was going on. Obviously, she's done a lot of movies, but I don't know if she was completely aware of what was going on, is what I'm saying. At 99 years old, I think when you pass away, maybe you're relieved, to be honest. Sorry. But, be realistic.
Wow. She brought years of entertainment to a lot of people. Made a lot of people happy.
Yeah, what's your favorite Betty White appearance?
Well, definitely on Raw, there's no question about it.
Big Golden Girls fan, Sean? I don't know, a lot of people,
to be honest, I actually did see...
I think a lot of people are sad about Betty White. They don't really know Betty White. They're just like, yeah, she was that funny old lady, right? Aw, sad that she's dead. And it's fine, rest in peace to Betty White and all, but you were a big Golden Girls fan, John? You and Xavier Woods,
Not
right?
a big one, but I saw a couple episodes.
You saw a couple episodes? So you're mourning the loss. You're in mourning right now because you saw 2 episodes of Golden Girls in 1992, and you liked it. You thought it was all right. You didn't like that really old lady. She had a spicy attitude. And that B. Arthur, let me tell you. And then there was Blanche. She was the promiscuous one of the group. You see? Remember that? You don't remember that because I'm obviously a bigger Golden Girls fan than you are. And I really... it's not like it's Seinfeld or anything. I think I liked Empty Nest better. Empty Nest was like a spin-off of Golden Girls. The guy lived next door. You remember that? He was like a doctor. Empty Nest.
I never saw Empty Nest.
Oh, well, there you go. I think my favorite Betty White appearance was when she guest starred on Empty Nest. Classic. Fucking Empty Nest.
AJ must be loving this. He knows all these shows.
I don't know. I think this is a little bit like after AJ's time. AJ is like mid-80s. I'm like mid-90s. Empty Nest, baby. Let me show you some photos of Empty Nest so that we can reminisce together. Look at that. You remember these guys? Empty Nest.
No, I never saw Empty Nest.
This is a good one. Empty Nest. Remember these? Look at that guy. You remember that guy. Look at that guy in the sailor's outfit or whatever. He was like the Kramer of the show.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it was a good one. Dynamite.
So, yeah, Dynamite.
Yeah, I think we did it. I think we talked about everything that happened on the Might of Dyna. We had dinosaurs winning tag titles. We had Chris Jericho's hair melting. We had MJF talking about WrestleMania. And that's it. Good matches. Good stuff. Mark Henry, Big Show, and Jerry Lynn didn't get to judge anything. They were the judges for the match, but they just sat there. Judge Big Show scores it 48-47. Danielson.
You seem very serious, Big Show.
I know,
He
he was
always
like
had a serious
taking
look on his
notes.
face.
Big Show was taking notes. Jerry Lynn and Mark Henry just kind of chatting. Judges aren't supposed to chat during the thing they're supposed to be judging. They're supposed to be... Big Show was actually doing it correctly. Mark Henry and Jerry Lynn are like chatting. Jerry Lynn could have been like, now you see, this is why Brian's winning this, Mark Henry, and listen to me, and da-da-da, and he's influencing his judging. Like, that's not how judges work. If you ever see a UFC fight, the judges are sitting at different corners. They're not sitting all right next to each other. They're sitting at different spots of the octagon so that they don't talk to each other and influence each other's decisions, but AEW didn't quite grasp that concept tonight. This coming Friday on Rampage, it'll be Adam Cole, Bebe versus Jake Atlas, Daniel Garcia in 2.0 versus Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. Hook! Send Hook! He will take on Aaron Solo. And Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter in a tag team match, playa, taking on Riho and Ruby Soho. Coming up on Battle of the Belts on Saturday, it'll be Riho versus Britt Baker for the AEW World Women's title, and Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. You think we see a title change on Saturday? I don't.
I mean, the only way I could see it happening is if they give it back to Sammy, but not sure if they do. However, are they taping it right now, like the Battle of the Belts, or is that going to be its own little thing live?
It's in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it'll be its own thing. They're taping Rampage, but Battle of the Belts is in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it'll be its own deal.
Yeah, I think Sammy's got the best shot of winning.
Yeah,
I would think more likely Cody's going to win, but
yeah,
if there's going to be a change, it's going to be more likely that's the main event. I think it's going to be Cody and Sammy.
I agree. Is it a 1 hour or 2 hour?
One.
Okay, well that's enough. That's enough.
And then we got Battle of the Belts tonight, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's it. We had the whole thing tonight. This is just an extra whatever. CM Punk versus Wardlow set for Dynamite next week. Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb as well. And Will Hobbs versus Dante Martin, all set for Dynamite next week. Doug, I got the picture that you sent me. Can I show it to the crew? I want to show a picture of Doug and Nick. Doug sent me a picture of him with the Ringside Report stuff. Can I show it on the show here, Doug? Give me permission so I can do it. If not, I won't. It's fine. Ray Cruz wants to know if I watched Wrestle Kingdom 16. I have not seen it yet. I have not. I did hear that Okada is the IWGP champion, and he retained over Will Ospreay, which is great. Okada is the man. He should be the champion. He really should. NXT, of course, the black and gold brand over. Braun Breaker beats Tommaso Ciampa last night. I don't know if you caught the NXT New Year's Evil show last night, Johnny. But Braun Breaker, Baby Steiner, Baby Rick Steiner, Rick Steiner's son, Braun Breaker, or whatever, Baby Steiner, he is the new NXT World Champion, beats Tommaso Ciampa in a pretty solid match last night. I saw that match. It was pretty good. Watch Walter. God, I love Walter. More Walter, please. Like, just give me all the Walter. Walter is like one of these throwback NXT stars from the old days when, you know, they had Shinsuke Nakamura or Finn Balor. They had these like world-class pro wrestlers that hadn't gone to the main roster that you could only see on NXT. Nowadays, it's just a bunch of young jabronis that you never heard of and you don't care about. But then Walter shows up and you're like, oh my God, it's Walter. Guy's awesome. So, shout out to Walter. Shout out to Braun Breaker. I love Braun Breaker. I think he's great. Promos, maybe not there yet, but as far as a young wrestler with all the potential in the world, he is the champion that NXT 2.0 needs right now. They're moving on from the black and gold brand. Thank you, Doug. I'll show the picture in a minute. They're moving on from the black and gold brand, and it's the multicolored whatever. And I think Braun Breaker's the champ for this era. I like him. I'm a big fan.
Well, like you said, like not the best in promos, but there's a lot of raw talent there, and he's only going to get better. Like if you think about it, he's probably the best new young talent they have in NXT, so it makes sense for him to be the champion. Like he's only had like what 6 matches now.
Wow.
Like he's just starting out here. So, but I mean, for 6 matches, pretty good.
Carmelo Hayes impressed me too. His match with Roderick Strong was pretty solid. This guy Carmelo Hayes can wrestle. I was like not really sure about him. I hadn't really seen much about him, but I saw the promos and I didn't love it. But then seeing him in that match, Roderick Strong, solid wrestler. Carmelo Hayes beats him, becomes the Cruiserweight champion and North American champion now combined in a unification match. Carmelo Hayes is pretty good.
I just got thrown off. Apparently, we have an injury at Rampage. That's fun.
Already? Sorry. What did you think of... Tell me in a second. What did you think of Carmelo Hayes? Have you seen him before? You like him?
Bits and pieces. Again, I saw some clips of that match, and it seemed like it was fine for what it was. Again, like I was kind of like you, like promo-wise, not really anything great in my opinion. Like that was a big problem I had with NXT from what I saw. Like I saw this promo. It was like they're having like a 6-woman tag match. Like that was bad. That was like really god awful. Like I understand a lot of them. This is the first time doing a promo, but if it's that bad, it should never air. Like it was atrocious how bad it was.
Which was that now? What did you not like?
I think it was like Indy Hartwell.
The promo.
Canzano was there. Yeah,
the promo. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so bad. So like that should have never aired.
Who is that lady that they had to like there was like another girl there sitting there?
Right.
Who was she?
I forget her name.
I don't know who any of those people were. I kind of ignored that promo because I didn't care. I like that Casey Catanzaro lady. She's like athletic. She does a lot of flips. She's pretty good. I mean, she's not great, but she's kind of fun to watch.
Just thought it was a really bad promo. Like that should never have aired.
It's NXT, man. This is the young kids. They're trying. They're trying new things. And they have no coaching whatsoever because they fired William Regal and Road Dogg. I mean, Road Dogg, whatever. But Regal has been like a backbone of the WWE system for years now. On camera, he's tremendous. As a general manager, whatever. His promos are great. He's got one of the best minds for pro wrestling. He signed some of the best wrestlers WWE's ever brought in. I mean, he's a brilliant mind for professional wrestling. The fact that they let William Regal go is more of an end to the current NXT than even Tommaso Ciampa dropping the belt to Braun Breaker. Letting Regal go today was something I did not expect. Although, all these firings, I really should expect the unexpected, pal. Expect the unexpected because it's unexpected. And it's not a surprise if it's expected, so it's got to be unexpected. Right? That's what Vince keeps telling us, or mumbling to us anyways on Raw. Expect the unexpected, so I have to fire Regal because he was a man's man, and it's unexpected if you're fired. I don't know. That'll be good. Got an egg. Hey, Austin Theory, get over here. Fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Regal. You don't think AEW should sign him to help their talent or be an agent or something backstage with AEW to help them work? Because to me, a guy like that, with a mind like that for pro wrestling, you'd want him around. Even as an on-screen talent, as a manager or something, the guy can talk. I'm surprised they let Regal go. He's so multi-talented in pro wrestling. He could do so much still. Surprising they'd let this guy go.
Well, I think it's really just a change of direction for them. You kind of said it as well, where it's like, the NXT black and gold, it's kind of done now. And Regal was that vision. And now they're going a different direction, and they're not having that old mentality anymore. They're going with a new mentality, and they wanted to change the way people look at things, the way the wrestlers are going to look at things. So they wanted new ideas in there instead. Not that Regal's ideas are bad or anything. They just want a different look at it. That's all.
I suppose. I don't know who's in charge now. I don't know who's telling them what now.
Well, there's still Michaels. There's still
right. Is
What's
he
his
still
name? Matt
anywhere?
Bloom's there.
Yeah.
There's still people there that exist that they talk to. They'll be fine. Like I wouldn't really worry. There's just less bodies there. That's it. And maybe it's for the best. Do they need all these talking heads? Like 6 people telling you what to do, all different things.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I think AEW or Impact or whoever would be smart to sign Regal because he is smart when it comes to pro wrestling. He could be helpful. Snooki and JWoww were in the front row at Dynamite tonight in Jersey.
I didn't see JWoww.
I did not. Did you see Snooki?
Well, Snooki's very tiny. Like it's hard to see her.
Okay. Well, just when you said you didn't see JWoww, I thought, oh, I saw Snooki, but not JWoww.
JWoww like stands out. It's hard not to see JWoww. Like,
okay, I don't even know what that means. Does she stand out in Jersey? I think she kind of blends in, to be honest. She has wrestled, right? She wrestled in Impact, and Snooki, of course, had a match at WrestleMania. Remember when JWoww wrestled?
That's true.
They both have wrestling
I do
experience.
remember that.
Well, not great.
I thought JWoww was better than Snooki, to be honest.
No, she wasn't. Take that back.
In terms of the presentation, in terms of the promo, definitely better. Wrestling,
in ring,
not so much.
Snooki was way better.
Yeah.
JWoww was terrible in the ring. Wasn't it like JWoww and like Ronnie versus Robbie E and like the fake Snooki at some point? Didn't they do that in Impact?
Yeah, I think that's what they did. Yeah, that sounds about right. Again, I'm not saying the wrestling. I'm just saying the presentation.
Mm-hmm. Jake Atlas suffered a knee injury in his match with Adam Cole tonight that they taped for Rampage.
That sucks.
Yeah. Right? We're just talking about him like coming out of retirement for this and, first match on TV hurts his knee. We don't know how bad his knee is, but he did hurt his knee during the match. Goes up for a springboard and comes up hurting his knee. Takes a super kick, and on the bump he hurt his knee. I don't know what happened, but I guess we'll see it on Rampage, or maybe they'll cut it out. I don't know. But Atlas is hurt, and Ray Phoenix was taken to the hospital. And the word is, according to PW Insider, that it's just an elbow dislocation, which looked like a broken arm. But if it's just a dislocated elbow, I guess not so bad. But we'll see what happens with Ray Phoenix taken to the hospital. And then Jake Atlas hurt as well tonight. So rough night.
Rough night.
Yeah, right? Tough night for AEW. All right, and I think that's it. It's been a big night for us. Big night for us. Very busy. A lot going on in the wrestling world. Shout out to Doug Hepburn. You are our Super Chat leader. Oh, in the picture. I got the picture here. I sent Doug. Doug sent me. First of all, Doug is the man because, as you all know, I'm a big action figure collector, and I love to collect these figures, right?
A little obsessed. Kind of get a lot of them, and they're all over the floor everywhere. It's hard to walk around. There's just toys everywhere.
What do you know about walking around? You don't come over anymore.
Well, I just heard you guys talking before the show.
I got a lot of toys.
There's a toy there.
Oh, they're everywhere. So this is Series 12 of the WWE Legends set, right? Here's the JYD. All right. Managed to find this one for myself. Junkyard Dog. Okay. Oh, this is a nice one. They were talking about him on Dynamite tonight. Rodney the Piper, also known as Roddy Piper. Hot Rod, right? Pretty nice. Okay. So I had these.
Classic Piper.
But I could not find the other two in the series. And Doug Hepburn out in Kingston, Ontario, because they're stocking them in Ontario, but they're not stocking them in Quebec. So Doug helping me out, sending me this beautiful, big, sexy Kevin Nash and...
WCW.
Yeah, NWO Kevin Nash. And this beautiful Mr. Ass Billy Gunn. Oh, yeah. So now I got the whole series, you see?
Cool.
We got him, baby. We got him. Thanks to Doug. So then I sent Doug, in return, a little Bret Hart plush and a Britt Baker AEW action figure, the first ever Britt Baker figure. And then Doug has received the stuff, and he sent me this picture in my email, which I really appreciate. There's Doug and Nick. Nick's bigger than
cool.
Doug. I didn't know what Doug and Nick look like. Look how much bigger Nick is than Doug. Yeah, the hats are beautiful. Nick's hat, you mean? Nick's wearing a Ringside Report hat. I don't know if you can tell in this picture, but Nick's wearing the Ringside Report hat. See that? Nice hat. And they're both wearing the beautiful Ringside Report Network shirts. And look, they got the tumblers. Wow. These guys got all the merch, baby. They are rocking. They know what's going on. They got the shirts. They got the hats. They got the tumblers. And look at that. There's the Bret Hart and the Britt Baker that I sent them. And look what they're watching. Do you know who those guys are, John? You recognize that? Look what they're watching on their TV. That's us.
Wow. On TV, too.
On the TV. And look at this cool hat Doug's got. And look, I don't know if you noticed this wall behind them, John, but he's got like a Habs, like a wallpaper thing going on. See that? The Canadians, like,
pretty amazing.
It's got a whole Canadians like motif going on. It's pretty cool. Very impressive. Doug is hardcore. Doug is a serious fan.
I approve.
Yeah, I know you approve. You're a big Habs fan. How they doing, John? Are they playing games now? What's the story?
Now.
They all have COVID?
The whole team has COVID.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So that's up.
Are they playing games, though, still with COVID, or do they just have minor leaguers?
I think the league's trying to force them to.
Oh, really? But are they playing games? I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. Tell me what's happening.
Well, they're making the guys who don't have COVID play. So it's pretty much minor leagues and then other minor league players. So they're getting several different minor leagues to play for the Canadians. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. You wouldn't see other teams like this or other leagues do this. Like, it's just
no. Why
disgusting.
not? You got to keep playing the games, don't you?
Like, you're going to play with pretty much just minor league teams now? That's it? Minor league teams will just get beat up by all these, like, pro teams?
Well, don't get COVID and you won't be... I mean, you would think it would all even out, right?
Yes,
like,
punish them for this.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, if the Canadians players get COVID, like, okay, they'll have to field a minor league team for a few games, and then they'll be all right, and then they won't have COVID anymore, and then maybe the other teams will get COVID, and then the Canadians will get some easy wins on those other teams that have to field minor league. You know, like, shouldn't it even out?
You would think. It hasn't happened yet.
So it's just the Canadians that have COVID and every other team in the league is fine? I find that hard to believe, John. I think you're seeing that from your Canadians-colored glasses.
Well, I see 22 players that have COVID on the Canadians. I don't see other teams that have that.
Oh. 22 and no other teams have that? So what's happened? I guess because the province
have it.
Oh. So what's the story? I don't get it.
It's not as big, I guess, with other ones for some reason. Like,
but really, weren't they losing every game when they did have their real players anyway? So isn't this season a wash at this point? You know what I mean?
Well, now it's like they had players injured before, though. That was different as well.
Right.
They had half the team injured. Now you have another, like, pretty much a whole squad COVID.
Wow.
Like, it's just, it's really bad. It's horrible.
Did Carey Price ever come back?
Thankfully not, because he didn't have to get COVID.
Oh, he never came back? He hasn't played a game yet still.
He's still hurt.
Oh, wow. Hurt? I thought was it an injury? I thought he had, like, personal issues.
He had that, and he also had a knee injury. He had surgery on his knee.
Oh. Okay.
There's a lot of problems going on here. Like, it's just, going to the finals, it takes a lot out of you.
Doug Hepburn says he's bigger than Nick. It's just a weird angle. Okay. I'll believe you, Doug, for now. I mean, I will not like to admit when my son's bigger than me, but I know it's going to happen. Honestly, I'm not that big, and he's like 4.5. I think I've got maybe 3 or 4 years left, and he'll be bigger than me. So, Ray Cruz... Well, I'm joking, but... Right? You figure Zev will be taller than me by the time he's, 14? 10 years.
Yeah, I would say 14. I wouldn't say 3 years.
No, maybe not, but I'm not a tall guy. You know that, so I don't know. Ray Cruz says many teams have COVID, John. You big liar.
22 players? There's another team of 22 players that have COVID.
I don't know.
Name me those teams.
Ray Cruz says other teams have COVID, okay? Stop trying to make it...
22 players.
Johnny North trying to paint himself as a victim once again. according to Ray Cruz. I'm with you, Ray. Doug Hepburn says Price will get traded to Edmonton.
Why would anyone want to get someone who hasn't even played a game? I don't understand these trade rumors. It's just Sportsnet feeding a bunch of BS so people will actually click on their website.
Wow, Johnny North firing shots at Sportsnet.
Just saying the truth.
Wow. I love it. Well, I mean, the media is a bunch of liars just trying to get clicks and nonsense for their lies. I'll agree with you on that. I don't know. Wouldn't another team want him because he's a good player? People like him? I don't know.
Yeah, but like he's still hurt. He's not playing. Like, why would you want someone like that? And then you want to trade like 4 or 5 players for him? Like that doesn't make any sense.
All right. I don't know, John. I don't know anything about hockey. I'm just relaying messages from Doug. Seems to be arguing with me about it, and I don't really care or want to care. Ray Cruz says many teams have players on the COVID protocol, John. Many teams.
Okay, name me another team that has 22 players that have COVID right now.
The Chicago Blackhawks.
They don't have 22 players that have it.
The Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm just naming hockey teams that I know, and I'm going to see
Hey,
if I hit
you're just naming
one.
teams. That's all you're doing.
The Detroit Red Wings. The Colorado Avalanche. Any other teams named after deadly natural disasters? Calgary before Christmas had 31 people, players and staff, says Ray Cruz. 31 is more than 22, John.
Okay, well, you add the staff. The staff's quite a few people, by the way.
You won't let him win this one. Johnny is like, all right. Doug Hepburn is the super chat leader of the night. Ray says Montreal are the most hit, though. How did that happen?
Well, the problem is they kept traveling. That was the problem. Like in the States, like it's worse than here, right?
So how come the American teams aren't getting COVID all over the place? You know?
I think it's not as bad traveling because they're not traveling as far as the Canadian teams are.
Well, other Canadian teams aren't hit as hard as Montreal. Like, you know what I'm saying? All the things that
Well,
you're
you saw
saying.
Calgary, it's not that good.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
And Edmonton's getting it too now. I mean, again, not as bad as Montreal, but it's starting now. They should just shut the league down, to be honest.
Why? The show must go on. WWE doesn't shut down. AEW doesn't shut down. UFC doesn't shut down. All the sports leagues that I cover, business as usual. Yeah, we'll do things without fans. Who cares? Most of the people watching this stuff are watching through TV anyways. Who cares? Do it without fans. I don't understand all these sports leagues shutting everything. Shut everything down. Why not? Do it without fans. It's TV. It's all about TV anyways. It's not about the people in the arenas. Who cares?
I'm not going to disagree with you that that's what they should do, but they won't do that because it's revenue, right? And that's why they're not having games in Canada so much. They want to have them in the States. They want to have all the home games for the Canadians in the States now because then that way they'll have the revenue from the fans.
Is that happening? Like, I'm completely
It shouldn't
unaware.
happen.
I know they've canceled games and stuff. Have the Canadians played a game at the Bell Center since the new lockdown measures have been in effect?
No.
Huh. Were they supposed to?
No, they played with no fans.
One game.
They played one game, yeah.
Like the night when Legault was like, okay, no fans tonight at the hockey game, and then they played the game, right? He announced it like 2 hours before the game.
2 hours.
He's like, yeah, all you people who have tickets think you're going to go to a game tonight? No. No fans. People are like, what? So since then, there hasn't been a home game, but they're supposed to have home games, but they've all been what? Postponed? Or moved?
Pretty much, yeah. Postponed, yeah.
Huh. So when's the last time they played a game?
Oh, they were in Florida not too long ago. I think they were in Florida, what was it, on Saturday? And, that's always wonderful going to Florida. Like, that only made things so much better for them.
Oh, my God. Florida in January. Yeah, that sounds terrible.
In terms of getting COVID, that's where a lot of them got COVID just because of that.
Oh, my God. I would love to be in Florida right now. I'll take COVID. I don't give a shit. I would have COVID just to be in Florida. I'm vaccinated. I'm strong. I'm healthy. It can't hurt me. I can't be hurt. I'm so strong. I'm the strongest man alive, John. I don't know if you knew that. Mark Henry, he gave me the title. He's like, you're the new world's strongest man. I said, yes. Not physically, but my immune system, you know? He's like, God damn. Somebody's going to get the ass whipped. Somebody's going to get the wig split. The Panthers beat the Canadians 5-2 on Saturday night, John. Not too good. And then they're supposed to play again on January 3rd or 12th. What? That seems like a long break between games, right? Because the games are getting postponed. They're going to play in Boston on the 12th, which is next Wednesday. Yeah, they're not playing a lot of hockey games.
Right.
That's weird.
Well, they don't really have a team to play right now, so.
Cool. Well, no hockey. That means wrestling. I remember last hockey season I lost you for a few shows, John, because you were watching Canadians hockey and you weren't watching wrestling. I don't think that'll happen this season. I'm happy because I get to keep my Johnny.
Oh, I'll be sad, but okay.
They have a home game in Boston. It's a home game for the Canadians, but they're playing Boston in Boston. Doesn't sound like a home game.
We'll see what happens. Again, they should shut everything down, to be honest, but wait and see what happens.
Why should they shut everything down?
Well, they can't play their home games, right? They don't want to play them in Montreal. They have to play them in the States. Like,
right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so some Canadians teams are inconvenienced. You're going to shut down the whole league? You know what I mean?
You should change up the format at least.
Okay.
Like, if you're going to make it for the Canadian teams, they should have their own divisions again.
Well, I agree with you. Whatever you say about hockey, I agree with you 110%, John. How about that?
I think you just want to end the conversation, to be honest.
That's also true.
Yeah.
That's also true. And then there's Olympics or something in February, but there's no hockey in the Olympics. Are they going to cancel the Olympics? They're in China.
They should cancel the Olympics.
I don't know.
Who's going to go to the Olympics?
China would be the last place I'd want to go to. Like, I know it's not as bad in China as it is in other places. There's just something creepy about going to China during a pandemic that started in China. You know? It's just like, I don't know about that. Travel to China, you don't think you'll get COVID? I think you get COVID if you go to China. I think you'll get COVID if you travel anywhere at this point. Unless you're on a flight to Mexico partying with 20 of your influencer shyster friends. And then you'll be fine. All those people just look like the greasiest pieces of shit that have ever come out of this province. Fuck all those people. Let the cartels handle them in Mexico. Enjoy being drug mules for your flight home, pendejos. Chinga tu madres, all of you.
I read that some of them are like Quebec, like TV stars or something.
Yeah, whatever.
So, well, that's pretty bad if you got ID'd, because like you're coming back with a fine then, if that's the case.
Yeah, good. Well, I hope those pendejos all get handled. I hope that the boys there in Mexico take care of them, is what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't want them to come back. I'm saying stay in Mexico, and I hope the cartel handles you. I hope Chapo's buddies take care of you. I hope you have a meeting with Chapo's son, and then you see what goes down. How it all goes. Is Mayo Zambata still in Mexico? Let Mayo deal with you. I hope what happens to you is what happened to Ramon Arellano. Shout out to Narcos Mexico. Shout out to Ramon. He was the craziest. All right. Thanks, guys. We love you. Doug Hepburn, you're the super chat leader of the night. Your son's bigger than you. Deal with it, Doug. I'm kidding. All right, guys. Thank you. And I'll be back tomorrow. Fuck.
What? Like, you're not happy with being back tomorrow?
I don't know. I was like, man. I'm tired. It's been a long show tonight, you know? Do I have energy left for tomorrow? Probably. Is there anything to talk about right now in MMA? No. Is there a UFC fight this weekend? No. Is there anything that I could bet on and make money this weekend? No. So it's like, People bet on sports and shit. I only bet on fights because that's how I win money, you know? Derek Lewis, Juliana Pena. We've been making money lately, okay? Making good money on dogs. Juliana Pena, upset of the year. Everybody was saying upset of the year, upset of the year. You know who told you to bet on her weeks before she beat Amanda Nunes? Me. Me did. Dave. All right. So I'll be back here tomorrow night with Fred and AJ. We're going to talk about Fred and AJ's continuing battle with COVID. I think they're out of the woods, although we'll have to find out tomorrow. Fred had symptoms, but he's feeling better. I think everything's good with Team Fred. I don't know about Team AJ. We will talk about it with AJ tomorrow night. And Fred, I'll talk about probably the influencers that went on a plane to Mexico. We'll probably talk about them. Fred is probably friends with them. I don't know. Fred's a very famous guy. You know, he knows everybody. And I don't know. There must be stuff going on in MMA. But right now, like, there's just... UFC doesn't have a show till next weekend when they do Calvin Kattar versus Giga Chikadze at the Apex, which should be a sick fight, but... And then UFC 270 is what we got our eyes on. UFC 270 on the 22nd of January. Francis Ngannou about to get smoked by Cyril Gane. Put your money on Gane. Gane is the man. Johnny, I'll see you on Friday night. We're back on Friday night, baby. It's been a couple
Hopefully
weeks.
Hopefully it's good. It sounds like Rampage isn't going to be that good, so wait and see what happens.
Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns confrontation on SmackDown Friday night. That'll be enough. Brock. Can you believe Brock worked on Saturday? He showed up to Raw on Monday, and he's going to be on SmackDown on Friday? It's a lot of travel for Big Broccoli.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's making it. It's good for him.
Yeah. Good for Brock. He needs the money. Poor Brock. All right, guys. I'll see you again tomorrow night, 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA right here on the Ringside Report Network. Thank you, Doug Hepburn. You're the Super Chat leader of the night.